Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Kyra and today I am bringing to you my month in review for November. If you're new to my channel, welcome, or if you are new to these videos, every month I talk about the things I've been loving, the things I have not been loving, maybe a palette of the month, and a few other shenanigans in between. So if that sounds like fun to you, then hang on tight because we're gonna get into my favorites. Let's go ahead and get the bad news out of the way, even though I said my favorites. The first is a primer, an eyeshadow primer, and I had mentioned a little while ago to you guys that I was having trouble with my eyeshadow primer holding onto my eyeshadow all day. I'd used the Urban Decay Primer Potion for years and it never steered me wrong until now. So I went ahead and picked up an affordable version as well as a non-affordable version, which is the Smashbox Photo Finish Lid Primer in Light, and so far so good with that one. But the Essence I Heart Stage eyeshadow base is not good. To me, this is actually no different than a concealer, and most concealers don't hold on to my eyeshadow for me. It's kind of a bummer. It says right on the packaging, eyeshadow base for a long-lasting eye makeup result, ready for stage. No. Maybe this would work for some people. It didn't work for me. Like I said, it looks exactly like concealer. And I would have to assume you don't get a lot of product in here because while I gave this a good run, I'm already starting to see windows in the tube. So, I mean, I just don't recommend this one. I am definitely in favor of finding an affordable option, but I also am not willing to settle for a base that doesn't keep my eyeshadow on all day. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. Maybe find somebody with dry eyelids and it would work for them. I'm not for sure, but it's not staying in my collection. And the next product, I'm still working with it, hoping it's going to get better. You may guess that it is a mascara. Please don't throw things at your screen. You will break it. It's the L'Oreal Lash Paradise Mascara. I have never tried this before until now, until this month. Probably a lot of you find that to be very surprising. This is a cult classic on YouTube. So many people love this. So many people find it to be dupey for the Better Than Sex mascara from Too Faced. I don't like it. And it's the formula. It's definitely a brush, like an hourglass shaped brush that I like. I find that that really helps set in my curl as I'm applying the mascara to my lashes. However, I don't know if it's because it's new or I just don't like it, but this makes my lashes clump together and that is no bueno for me. I wouldn't say I have terrible eyelashes. I wouldn't say I don't have many lashes, but I don't have enough lashes that I necessarily like them to clump together. In fact, I don't like them to clump together, Sam I am. So, like I said, I'm going to keep working with this a little bit, see if it's one of the mascaras that needs to maybe dry out a little bit before it performs the way that I like. But I've heard so many people, you know, I think Jessica Braun is one that talks about this. I mean, it's a favorite of hers, but she says that she feels like it gives her feathery lashes, and I don't. I don't know if she just has more lashes than I do. I'm not for sure what the deal with this is, but this is definitely in the bottom for me this month. In fact, it's probably my least favorite product that I tried this month. Sorry, L'Oreal. All right, we got the bad news out of the way. Now, normally I do not put a product in my top if I've had it for less than 1 month. However, I'm making 2 exceptions this month. One, because the product I literally bought on the first day of November, so I have been using it for a month. And the other one is one that is a very affordable product, has changed that step in my routine to the point where I just want to share it with you guys. So, Starting with a product I bought on November 1st is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I have mine in the shade 03 Light Medium. Yep. And I love this. I'm not wearing this today, but this is just stunning. I really like this applied before my foundation for just a natural glow. It does shine through my foundation. Full disclosure, I don't wear full coverage and I don't wear a ton of foundation, like in the amount, but this shines through beautifully. It makes my skin look naturally radiant, but I also really love this as a liquid highlighter, which is probably what I use it for the most. And I think the reason I love this, I'm really into a natural highlight these days, but I think this just makes my skin look glowy. It doesn't look like I'm wearing a highlighter. It looks like that skin is glowing, and that is what we're all aiming for, is it not, with the powder highlighters? So I'm really more and more a fan of a liquid or cream highlighter. I just find it to look so natural, and who doesn't want to look, I mean, maybe some people don't. I suppose there's a lot of people that don't, as a matter of fact. But for me, that's what I'm looking for. I just want my skin to look good. If my skin looked like this when I woke up in the morning, I wouldn't have a need or a want for all of these products. But my skin, my cheeks aren't naturally rosy. My skin is not naturally glowy, other than when I put like heaps of skincare on and I look like a grease ball at night. So I think a product like this is wonderful. If this is not within your budget, I know Milani has a similar product. I know Physicians Formula has a similar product, and I will link those down below for you in case you're looking for an affordable alternative. And the next product that I mentioned that came into my life this month that I just had to share with you guys because it is affordable and it is fantastic and it has changed my routine with this category is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Bronze It. I have mine in the shade Light. And if you look at it here in the pan, it does look almost cool tone. And I think it's possibly just because it's the light shade, which normally I wouldn't buy anything in the light shade. But here's what it looks like. It is glowy, and if you look at it in the pan, it even looks like it has micro glitter in it. That does not translate at all onto the face. But the reason that this has changed my life this month is because sometimes if a bronzer is a little too warm for me, but I still want to make use of the product, get my money's worth, or if a bronzer ever looks like patchy or unblended, I use this. I mean, I love this all on its own and it looks freaking flawless, especially as my skin tone gets lighter. I think a slightly cooler bronzer like this is more flattering. It doesn't look so fake. It just gives a natural shadow to the face, which is what contouring and bronzing and all of that noise is about. So I do love this. They have 3 shades. So if light is not your jam or isn't going to work for your skin tone, they'd have 2 deeper shades. I love this. I love the texture of it. I think the texture is really similar to the Butter Bronzer, very satiny. But like I said, this will blend out and perfect any other bronzer that you put on your face. And I think it's just well worth mentioning, especially because it's an affordable product and especially because it has changed my routine so much. Love it. Oh, and I forgot to say, this is a recommendation from my girl Kelly from Glam with Kelly. She just texted me, so I remembered. She loves this. She's actually panned one whole one of these and it has huge pan on her second one, if that tells you how much she likes it. And she has yet to steer me wrong on anything that she has recommended on her channel. So I'm going to link her down below. Make sure you go check her out if you haven't already. Let's talk about something that I haven't used on camera yet, I don't think, and not because I'm hiding it from you or anything, but it's a step in my routine that I generally have done before I turn on the camera. And it's the powder that I've been setting my under eye with, including today, gives me the least dry looking under eyes. I do love my pressed number 7 powder for setting my under eye. I take a little on my finger and just press it under the eye so I get the least amount of powder, and I'm pressing it directly in as I'm kind of pressing out any creases. But I got a little sample of the Bare Minerals Mineral Veil powder. Yeah, and this is a translucent powder. This is the original Mineral Veil. They have other ones now. They have one that has sunscreen. I think they have them in actual colors now. I've never used any of those, so I can't speak to those. This is the original Mineral Veil. But this powder, oh good, someone's out of here. This is what it looks like. It is so silky and soft that it just like all but disappears. I used to love this. I actually used to wear Bare Minerals foundation, bronzer, all that stuff long before my current journey in beauty began. This was always my favorite powder. A lot of times I would skip the colored foundation powder and just use this over my entire face. It's very perfecting, and I actually think I'll end up picking up a full size of this eventually. I do want to work through some of my current loose powders that I own before I pick up a full size of this. But meanwhile, again, I just picked this up on my ring finger straight out of the container, press this on my under eyes to set my concealer, and it's just been really, really fabulous. So you have this lying around, you've never tried it under your eyes, I highly recommend you try it. Last but not least, the mascara that I have been raving about for a couple of months now actually on my channel. This is not new to the beauty world, and it's not super new to me, but this is the first tube, and it's the CoverGirl Exhibitionist Mascara. This is the mascara that I'm using today. I really like that it separates, it lengthens, darkens, it holds a curl, the whole thing. I really love CoverGirl mascaras overall. Again, that beautiful hourglass wand or bristle whatever. I love this. This is a great formula as well as a brush that I like, and it does everything I want it to do with my lashes. This has completely dethroned my Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir mascara that I loved up until now, because I had this head to head with my Marc Jacobs, and I was reaching for this one more. I was wanting to reach for this one every day and not my precious Marc Jacobs. So that's great. That's good news to me. Who does not want to save money on their makeup? I love bougie things. I love buying makeup. I love beautiful things, but I love me a good cheap mascara. So I know I haven't done this for a few months, but typically in these videos, if I have like a new technique or something like that, or I've changed something in my everyday makeup routine, I like to bring it here to you guys and just let you know what I've been loving in terms of application of makeup. And that is true this month. The thing that I've kind of been in love with for all of November, sometimes when I'm filming, a lot of times when I'm not, but I still want to put on makeup, I need to get out the door and look presentable, so on. Been loving like cream and potted single shadows. Specifically cream, although I don't know that you would call the L'Oreal Infallibles necessarily a cream. They are a lot like a cream, or somewhat like a Super Shock shadow, if you're familiar with that formula. They will dry out if you don't keep them closed and so on, unlike powdered or pressed powdered single shadows. This month I picked up 2 of the L'Oreal. This one is a cult classic, and they're the Infallible eyeshadow, 24-hour Infallible eyeshadow, mouthful. This is in the shade Amber Rush. This is a recommendation from Jessica Braun. I'm gonna swipe them all for swipe them.
Swipe or no swiping? Swiper, no swiping.
I'm going to swatch them all for you. And then this is another one in the shade Liquid Diamond. This was a recommendation from Sarah Hubler. I'll have them both linked below. This is kind of like a silvery purpley shade. Very pretty. And then another new one is this Revlon Color Stay Cream Eyeshadow. This is in the shade Pistachio. It's a really pretty green. Not necessarily my favorite formula of this type, but one product that I love in the formula is the Maybelline Color Tattoo 24-Hour Eyeshadow. This one is like a rose gold and it's called Socialite. And then this is like a bronzy shade called High Roller. So this is L'Oreal Amber Rush. This is L'Oreal Liquid Diamond. This is Pistachio from Revlon. And then here is Maybelline High Roller. Yep. And Maybelline Socialite. So as you can see, these are stunning. And in case you can't tell, these are extremely long lasting. Like, I didn't even let these set down, but they're still staining my arm. They're beautiful, and that's the thing I like about them is they last all day. Super easy and quick to apply. I mean, this is the kind of thing I throw on my eyes when I go grocery shopping, or if I'm not filming that day and I'm just taking my daughter to her dance lessons. Just anything. But I absolutely like, my friend Kelly did like a really quick glam look using a cream shadow from Loreal. I'll link that video below. But you absolutely can get glam with something like this as well. Like, if you really intensify this and, like I said, maybe put a tiny bit of highlighter on that inner corner, it is gorgeous. If I have any pictures of me wearing any of these shadows, I'll have put them up on the screen for you here. So overall, I'm enjoying these little cream potted single shadows this month. I'm keeping them all out on my desk. This is not something I normally do. I'm not a single shadow girl. I don't have Z palettes of single shadows, and I don't have a bunch of Super Shock shadows from ColourPop or anything like that. That's not my jam, but apparently the cream ones are. I do have a dupe, a high-end to affordable dupe for you this month. But before we get into that, I want to tell you about my 2 palettes of the month. I decided that I was going to include an older palette as well as a newer palette in my favorites, because that's what happened this month. I have a favorite palette that's newer to my collection, though I did not get it in November. I got it in October. And then I have an OG palette that was in my Shop My Stash, or still is at this point, that I also have been digging and loving and just reaching for. So the old palette is the OG Norvina palette from ABH. I really love this palette. I've always loved this palette. I do get a lot of use out of this palette. I did find myself doing simpler looks with this month, going for like some of the neutral shades and just an all over lid shade. I love this, but I also found myself combining this with my other palette that's in my Shop My Stash, as well as other palettes, including the next one I'm going to talk about. And then the other palette that I've been loving and using a lot this month, this is what's on my eyes today. This is a beautiful palette, but not only that, it's very, very easy for me to reach for. I don't have to worry about going overboard. In fact, if I want to go overboard, I kind of have to work for it a little bit. It's the Carly Bible palette with ABH. It's beautiful, in case you haven't seen it. On my eyes today, I do have Chai as well as Bowie. Yeah, Bowie in a crease. It looks like I have Cindy up here with a little bit of warmth, but I don't. I actually used the blush that I have on my cheeks to blend out the rest of my eyeshadow. I like that. I feel like it adds like more put together look by taking that blush at the very end and sort of adding a little bit of it into the transition area. I've talked about this in videos past. It just makes the look a little bit more cohesive. And then I have Moo all over the lid. Probably my perfect gold eyeshadow. A lot of you guys were so sweet and gave compliments when I've worn Moo in the past on my eyes, saying that it opens up my eyes and so on and so forth. And then I did use this shade, Bear, like the animal, in my inner corner and on the brow bone. But the thing I like about this palette is that the mattes are just super easy to work with. They're super easy to blend out. I mean, yes, this is a bright shade, but I love this shade Bible, I love Chai, and I love Bowie over here. Like, they're just beautiful. And like I said, if you want to go a little dramatic, you're really going to have to pack them on. And I don't mind that because I'm generally not looking for dramatic when I go with this palette. I'm usually looking for just a kind of everyday look, if you will, and I think it achieves that beautifully. However, some of the shimmers in here are absolutely stunning as well. I really love this shade called Mandala. I still feel like, even after doing so many looks with this and reviewing it and continuing to use it throughout the month of November, I still feel like I have barely grazed the surface on the amount of looks that I could get out of this that I would just love. So that's why it is the palette of the month, along with my OG Norvina. Last but not least, I have a dupe for you guys. And I don't save up my dupes because I never have enough to do a dedicated video, but I do like to share them with you as I go, specifically when I'm duping something high-end with something affordable. Today's dupe is a color dupe. I am duping a lipstick shade with a lip liner shade. That being said, I think it does a fantastic job. So the lipstick shade that I'm duping is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk lipstick in her Matte Revolution formula. It is the tiniest lipstick of life. I only have this little bit left, and when I finish it, which is probably going to be in the new year, I plan to repurchase this in the full size for myself for my birthday. The color in a lip liner that I found that is a perfect match for this is the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in the shade Soft Spoken. I had bought this with the intentions of duping my MAC Whirl lip liner. I just don't really feel like you have to spend a lot of money on lip liner, and so here you go. I think that's a pretty spot on dupe. I went a little heavier with the swatch with the lip liner, and this is a very creamy formula even though it is matte. So even if this is not necessarily duping the lipstick, I would say that this must be a dupe for the Pillow Talk, what should we call them? Oh, Lip Cheat in Pillow Talk from Charlotte Tilbury. So if you've been wanting that color but you just can't drop the dime on it, I really recommend this. I think this is a beautiful lip liner. It's pretty close to Whirl, but not a perfect dupe. I'll swatch it for you. So this is what's left of my lip liner from MAC. And they're similar, though I think Whirl is just ever so slightly more mauve and cool tone, but they're close enough. And this is definitely still a My Lips But Better shade, just like the Whirl pencil. So that's my little dupe for you. I hope that's helpful to you in some way. I really, really love the formula of that pencil as well. So that's it. That is my month in review. I love sharing with you my tops and bottoms every month, as well as my palette of the month. I just like to share the things that I've been reaching for, whether they're new, old, or in between. I love talking about the makeup that I love. Let me know down in the comments what is one of your tops and or one of your bottoms for the month of November. I always love to hear feedback from you guys. I'd love for you to chime in the comments and talk to each other. And thank you so much for spending part of your day here with me today. I appreciate each and every single one of you, and I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful, favorite makeup days, and I will see you in my next video real soon.